Welcome to the Fliplet product roadmap update for Q4 2025. My name is Tony. I'm the head of product here at Fliplet, and joining me today is Sophie, our product solution manager. If you have any questions or suggestions to share at any point, you can do so at any time privately using Zoom's Q&A feature. If we have time at the end of the session, we will answer your questions. Otherwise, we will contact you afterwards to answer your questions. We have lots of updates to share with you today. If you have any questions or are interested in any of the features during the session, please mention the name of the feature in the Zoom's Q&A feature, and we'll follow up with you afterwards as well. We will start by talking about the app publishing and how our web apps and mobile native apps can work together seamlessly using deep linking. We will then talk about how you can use data more effectively using our data-powered components when displaying data, as well as the form component when collecting data. We have lots of stuff to share about what Fliplet has been doing with AI, and we want to touch on how Fliplet continues to support your software development life cycles. And lastly, we'll go through some of the updates we have coming up in our beloved event solutions. To walk you through Fliplet's app publishing features, here's Sophie.
Thank you, Tony. Hello, everyone. Let's kick off with publishing. So when it comes to publishing your apps here at Fliplet, there are two main methods that you can use. One being web apps and the second being mobile apps. So let's start with those web apps. So these are instantly accessible, no downloading needed, no approvals. Users can access those from their browser right away. They also make it easier to share and promote content. You can link directly to specific web pages. You can integrate with your website or embed those into your digital ecosystem. Earlier this year, you may be aware we introduced two new exciting features to our web app capability, these being custom web domains and SEO. These are really expanding that reach and allowing visibility of your apps beyond the app stores. So with custom domain, you can host your app on your own branded URL, giving it that professional, cohesive look and feel. And with SEO, your app content can now be indexed by search engines, helping people discover it more organically. And then moving on to mobile apps, which you can publish both on iOS and Android. These work offline, so users can still access important content on the go, even without an internet connection. They unlock lots of native functionalities like push notifications, GPS, camera access, and much more. And they make a really powerful and interactive experience for your users. The only downside to these is publishing them. Publishing native apps sometimes can be a painful process, dealing with App Store reviews, a long approval process, and sometimes there's confusion about what is needed from each of the app stores. So we're continuing to make this process smoother so we can take advantage of both worlds, the reach of web apps and powerful apps, and the powerful world of native apps. So again, as we just touched on, publishing native apps can be a little bit painful at times. The process is still kind of manual and time-consuming. It requires a lot of step-by-step information and going through long flows to kind of get the app ready to launch. There's very little feedback during the process. So if something goes wrong, it's often unclear what happened, where it went wrong, and how you should fix it. There's also a lot of confusion around what's required when you're publishing an app. Things like certificates, provisioning profiles, and bundles are unclear sometimes from what is needed from the app stores. This can easily derail the submission if they're missing or expired. And overall, the process can be prone to errors and failed submissions, meaning teams often have to restart from scratch, go back and forth with support, and kind of really troubleshoot what happened during the process. It works, but it's not efficient, and that's exactly what we're aiming to simplify moving forward. So we've been working really hard as a team this year to enhance this process. These updates are helping us tackle some of the obstacles that we've experienced internally as a team, and also lots of feedback that we've gotten from our users. In the updated flow, we're moving to a much smarter approach. It's going to be connected directly through an API, which allows us to guide you through each step of the publishing process in a way more structured and helpful way. You'll get step-by-step validation, clearer instructions, and an updated intuitive interface design that makes the process a lot easier to follow, especially for teams managing multiple apps. These changes are all about making publishing smoother, reducing that back and forth, and getting apps live faster. So we're really confident that these changes to the current publishing process will alleviate some of these current pain points you may be experiencing. As mentioned, one of the biggest changes is this introduction of the API integration with the App Store. This will significantly increase the efficiency of the process. This direct connection will allow us to automatically retrieve and validate key publishing assets, things like certificates, publishing profiles, and other required metadata, cutting down the need for manual entry and reducing that complexity on where to find things and what's needed when. Additionally, we're improving the way that the data is handled once you start publishing. Things like certificates, bundled information, app details are now securely saved to your organization's profile through that API. This means that once you've published an app once, it can then be reused for additional publishing of that app. It can also be reused for other apps within your organization using the same developer account. So all that information will be stored, streamlining repeat submissions and saving the time moving forward. We've also taken the opportunity to revamp the whole user interface. The new UI is amazing. It's a lot cleaner, more intuitive. It provides a lot of step-by-step guidance as you go along the different required steps to publishing, really making it a lot easier to use for both technical and non-technical users. It helps reduce the need for that guesswork. What am I looking for? Where should I go get it? Simplify the overall decision-making and makes the overall publishing experience a lot more approachable, and again, helps you get that app live a lot quicker. So when and how can I access this new publishing process? So the good news is that API we keep referencing, the backend work of it is already done. We've had several successful client apps be published through it and also be republished through it. So it's tested, it's stable, and it's really ready to go. So if you'd like to start trying it out, you can reach out to our support team or pop a message in the chat right now, and we can help you get access and guide you through that process. There is no front-end UI to it, but as a team, we can kind of help you utilize those APIs to get that app launched. So right now, this is ideal for app builders who are ready to trial submitting an app to the app stores and really get an idea of how this new flow will work for you. And looking ahead, that brand new, shiny, great interface that we're working really hard on will be available next year. So that's going to kind of be the face of publishing that you will see in Fliplet Studio. That's going to connect to those APIs we keep referencing. So both of those will be connected together and available for you in Fliplet Studio early next year. Okay, so we are going to move on to deep linking. So deep linking kind of ties into that publishing and publishing process, both with native apps and that custom web domain we talked about. This feature is going to be also baked into that new publishing process that we just talked about. So what is deep linking exactly? The simplest explanation of this is the functionality that takes a user directly to your mobile app on your device from a web URL. So the deep linking feature lets you open a specific screen inside your Fliplet app directly through that unique URL. So when you're accessing a URL on your device, instead of it opening through a web app browser or your web app, as it might do now, users are taken directly to the content in that downloaded native app. So what makes this really powerful is how it connects your apps to the outside world. This gives users that smoother, faster experience. They stay logged into an app that they're already familiar with. They can interact with all the native features of that app, and they can move through that content without any blockers. It also means your app becomes part of that larger, wider ecosystem. So it's acting as kind of a central hub together with all of your different marketing, communications, and user experience. So rather than getting stopped or blocked at a web browser, deep linking will pull your users directly into that native app where there's a more richer, faster, and more personal experience for them. So the image here that you're seeing will kind of explain how this feature will work with this updated deep linking. So you can see here your app URLs. These are all the different ways that you can access URLs. So it can be through something like a URL in an email, a text message, a specific QR code, a web link, an NFC tag, or even another mobile app. So before, without deep linking, when someone clicked on one of these URLs from one of those methods, it would open the web browser or the web app for them. So that meant that it was kind of limited experience. There was no saved logged in, no saved logins, no native performance, and no access to app-only features. But now, with this deep linking, that's completely changed. When a user clicks on one of these links on their mobile device and has the app installed, it will open it directly in that native app, and it will take them right to that screen in the app. They still get that fallback of access through a web app if they're on a computer or don't have the app installed, so they won't be blocked at all. But for a mobile user that has the device installed, the experience is so much smoother, faster, and again, fully connected to their app. So it may seem like it's a small change, but it really makes a huge difference. It's turning ordinary links into a seamless entry point right into your native app. So we've kind of explained what deep linking is, and we'll give you some kind of practical ways that you could use it across different types of apps and where you might be seeing it as a benefit. So for instance, in a directory app, imagine you receive an email. Someone has started new within the company, and there's a little bit of a profile about them and a link to their profile. So instead of that link opening a browser with information, it's going to open directly in your company's directory app. So they're already logged in. It will take them directly to that person's contact. They can call, message, favorite, save that all instantly there within that app. Another use case, if you're in an event app, so say you're attending a conference, I go to my conference door, there's a little QR code on the door that I want to scan before I enter the session. So that deep linking is going to open that event app automatically. It's going to check me into that session. It's going to take me straight to the relevant session information screen. So there's no searching and there's no extra steps needed. So that's all done directly by scanning the QR code with my camera app. Another use case, say in maybe a learning app, you get a link to a specific course. There's a training we need everyone to do. It needs to be completed by Friday. I get this email in my company intranet on my web. I tap into it on my device. I'm now taken directly to that course. I can maybe save it and bookmark it to come back to it later. I can then, interact with it, or maybe I'm on the train going home. I don't have access to an internet connection, but that content is saved offline because I'm in that app and I can go ahead and interact with that then. So a really nice way to use that in a native app where I wouldn't have that functionality in the web browser. So these are just some examples of how deep linking connect users straight to the right place, faster, more seamlessly, and within an experience that they already know and trust. So some key benefits of using deep linking: it's faster, it has smoother navigation, and there's no browser delays or extra loading time. So they're going straight to that screen that they need to see instantly. Also, a big key one is the user is logged in to their device or to their native app on that device. So that means it's a seamless experience every time I'm opening it. I don't have to re-enter credentials. I don't have to move around the app to see where I need to go. I'm already logged in and I can directly be linked to where I need to go. It also is really important to help drive users into the native version of your app, where they can take advantage of all of the built-in features, things like push notifications, offline access that we just talked about, and overall a better way to view engagement tracking and analytics from the back end of the app. So really a good way to drive people into that native app and really increase the usage of it. It also creates a consistent branding experience across all of your devices. So whether someone's opening a link from an email, scanning that QR code, taking a link from a message, it all feels cohesive, tied into one, and professional. And again, we mentioned it works when users are offline or resuming from a saved state, so they can pick it right up and use it where they left off without any interruption, regardless of their internet connection. So in summary, deep linking delivers a faster, smarter, and more connected experience, one that will keep your users engaged and brings them straight into your app's ecosystem. So as mentioned, this deep linking feature will be available as part of that new publishing API that we have built. So now this means that any app published through that new API that has a custom web domain also linked to it will automatically now support this deep linking functionality. So you will use that new API that we can help you out with, and you have a custom web domain set up, whether it's already set up or you can set one up together. That is available for you to use by the end of the year. Again, if you have any questions, we've already talked to a couple of clients that are super excited about this. If you have any questions on how you can kind of get that used sooner than later, reach out to us and we can help you kind of get that configured. So end of this year for that functionality. And again, as we mentioned, that new publishing UI that is coming will also have this baked into it. There won't be any manual configuration. It will be automatically set up, but there will be kind of some messaging in the UI so that you know that this functionality is set up and functioning for your native app and your custom web domain. So really exciting stuff. Okay, we are going to move on to our data-powered components. So our data-powered components are live. If you haven't heard of them or seen them yet, we will talk about them again for you. You'll see examples of some of the screen templates that are currently live using them over the next few slides, and some screens that we have built using these components. So as I'm talking, take a look at kind of the screen templates that you're seeing on the screen. So just as a reminder, if you haven't heard of them, these components are the next evolution from our existing list from data source feature. So if you've built apps within Fliplet, you know what our list from data source feature is. It powers our agendas, our directories, our news feeds. It's a really highly used feature within Fliplet. So we're advancing this feature to give you much more flexibility and control over how your apps use and display data, really. These components are all about powering your apps with live connected data. Instead of static screens, you can connect your app screens to any data source and bring that information to life. These data-powered components are now completely customizable and interactive. They're giving you that freedom to work with the design, unique layouts, add certain filtering options, and really define how users are interacting with your content. One of the main challenges that we've seen with that current list from data source that I mentioned is the flexibility of it. Users often want more control over how the list looks and how it behaves, and that demand has just kept growing as that feature has become more popular. Right now, you can't easily change those layouts or adjust how the information is displayed. You have minimal control over colors and settings and such, but it really requires some custom code to put a lot of customization on those current LFD templates. Another issue that has been reported and can sometimes be present is when there is a large amount of data that sits in your data source. It can sometimes be slow to load, process, render everything correctly, which obviously would affect the overall usage of that feature. Additionally, it has limited filtering options. We have a few predefined options that you can use, but without custom code, again, we are limited to how you can filter and display that information. So really, it means that the system works great, but it's a bit rigid. Users are asking for more flexibility on this and control over how they view their data, and thus where our new data-powered components come in. So with these new components, we're giving you that control, customization, and overall creativity. There's much greater design flexibility. You can now customize everything existing on those data components. Current list styles can be rebuilt however you want them to be. Things like directories, news feeds, event schedules will all now be able to be formatted and customized to your app's look and feel without touching any code. One of the biggest advantages we find with this is that you can now pull data anywhere into your app. So I have referenced list several times here. That's kind of the old method is the list that pulls the data in. But now a huge advantage of this is you don't have to use a list anymore. You can use a list, but you can also pull data into different parts of your app. So screens, headers, different components, images, text, buttons, depending on what you're looking for, all of those can now be powered by data sitting in your data sources. So a lot more control over how we can show data dynamically in our app in different locations, not just relying on that list view anymore. You can also connect multiple data sources. So before, the list was kind of tied to one data source. Again, obviously with custom code, we could make some changes with that. But now you can have multiple data-powered components sitting on one screen, all powered by different data sources. And again, if you've ever tried to customize an LFD, you know that there has been some reliance on your CSD or developer team to help you do so. So with these data-powered components, we're reducing the reliance on developers, allowing you to configure your own data-powered components directly in Studio without any custom code needed. So as I mentioned, these components and screen templates are now live. You'll see on your screen your component library. This is going to sit inside of Fliplet Studio when you go to add a new component to your screen. These are the drag and drop components. So you'll see here under data management and data features, those are the individual components that you can use. And there's a full support article on how to kind of set those up and use them. To begin with, we may suggest using one of our pre-built screen templates that fully utilize these components and show you kind of how they are structured and work together. So depending on how confident or how skilled you are, you can give it a try on your own, which is why they're there. But you can also use our screen templates, so they're already kind of be pre-built. And again, there's two very helpful support articles that explain exactly how those components work. So give them a try. And then just looking forward, this is a continuing process and project that we're working on. So we have some exciting components that we will continue to build as we continue through the year that will give you even more flexibility and control over how you display and interact with your data. So we're building that filtering and sorting component. Again, this is going to give you a little bit more control over how you utilize those components. Our bookmark, we have icons, so you can drop icons anywhere within your screen and link them to a specific action. We also have comments, so you can drop those anywhere in your data-driven components and have that kind of discussion element. And then finally, our agenda component, which will give you more flexibility over the current style and layout of our standard agenda screen. I'm going to now talk about forms. So we are introducing a new setting in our form component called single submission. This feature is going to control how many times users can submit a form. In this case, it's going to be one. Previously, forms allowed multiple submissions, which could lead to duplicate responses, inaccurate data, especially in use cases like surveys, feedback forms, and registration. So with this new option, app creators can give customers the confidence that each submission will only happen once. So a few use cases where this might be helpful for you is in something like an event registration, prevent users from registering for an event multiple times, and our feedback surveys. So if you have a feedback survey within your app, this is going to ensure unbiased single response results, and also compliance acknowledgement. We're going to record only one entry per user, so there's no duplicate entries. And if you had something like voting or polling, we would be ensured that there is only one submission for that. So this feature will be available at the end of Q4. Again, if you'd like more information on it, please go ahead and pop that in the chat. And I will now go ahead and pass over to Tony.
Thank you, Sophie. And let's talk about what Fliplet is doing with AI.
Tony, I don't think we can see your screen. Oh, we can. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Ignore me.
Oh, that's fine then. Well, since 2023, Fliplet has been working with AI features a lot. We have launched an AI support bot. We have launched advanced analytics for apps, and that is powered by AI, as well as a universal search in some of our app solutions. This year, we launched the AI feature component, and then by the end of the year, we will also have launched our action builder. Next year, we want to take this vision even further and make Fliplet Studio an AI-first platform. But first, let's talk about what we've been working on. The AI feature gives you the capability to generate app features using AI. Our customers are using it to explore new ideas and add new functionalities that aren't available out of the box. This can include complex interactive features such as calculators, forms, quizzes, and we've seen some of our customers create interactive maps that are mapped against their session locations in their agenda. It helps them create layouts that allows them to create and explore data in new ways that uses custom filters and specific search criteria that only applies to them. And it also allows them to create interface designs using very specific brand color palettes as well. The benefits of the AI feature is that you can use conversational AI, where you don't really have to have any coding skills, just natural language skills. You can upload images as reference for AI, such as a brief sketch, and tell AI that you would like a pie chart to look in a very specific way. You can also build AI features using the AI feature. It's a bit of a mouthful, but what that really means is that when you use our AI feature to build something into your app, that can be an AI-powered functionality in and of itself, such as building a chatbot into your app. You can explore complex ideas very quickly and iterate over them over time. This component is already now live. While the AI feature component allows you to create interfaces that are facing the user, we also have an action builder that allows you to build workflows that happens in the background. Using the action builder, you can build and maintain complex workflows using conversational AI, which means that you can use an action to execute any number of steps in your own custom workflow. That can be that when a user submits a form, a push notification can be sent to all the admin users. Or you can schedule it such that every Monday at 9 a.m., an email can be sent to all of the users who were registered in the past week, giving them tips on how to use the key features of the app. A beta launch of this feature will be ready by the end of 2025. Deb will be giving a demo later today, so if you're interested in that, either stick around or you can catch up on demand afterwards. We also have a few AI model updates, which means more AI model choices to generate better results. This means that we have various GPT-5 models from OpenAI, as well as Gemini models from Google. There are pro models in both OpenAI and Google if you want to use them for more complex features and you have tasks that require some long thinking time for AI. If you have some easy tasks that aren't too complex and you really want to make sure that you have the speed in the AI responses, you want to be using the Mini, Nano, and the Flashlight models. OpenAI also has a GPT-5 model that sort of strikes right in the middle in the balance. And these are really there for you to experiment and figure out what works for you. These features are available to Fliplet customers who develop AI functionality in apps through Fliplet's AI APIs. When you choose them, you'll want to choose them based on the speed of the model, the capability of the model, and sometimes just the slight quality and how the task is complex or not. And sometimes these models have just like a slightly different personality to them as well. So depending on what you get out of them, you might choose to prefer one or the other. But by supporting multiple models and from multiple suppliers, it also ensures that you can have redundancy and over the different models. And therefore, if one fails, your app remains to be reliable and functioning. Let's talk about how Fliplet supports your software development lifecycles. The SDLC is a structured process for planning, developing, testing, and deploying software efficiently. By dividing the development into clear sections and phases, your team can improve the output quality, reduce delivery risks, improve cost management, and enhance the team productivity. But how does Fliplet support SDLC? With Fliplet, you can separate studio users into different organizations and environments. You can duplicate apps within your organization as well as across different organizations. You can make changes and test them in isolation, and then you can merge the app changes, test them before you then deploy them. Today, I want to talk about two of the phases where we're going to be making some changes to help you. Customers have already set up multiple organizations as development environments, and sometimes they will switch between them in Fliplet Studio. This is to avoid polluting the production environment with test apps. It allows you to control the access of what each individual user can see, as well as reducing the risk to live apps by reducing edits and tests. We've heard of how some of the customers do enjoy the power of being able to see the live app being changed directly, but sometimes that also comes with some risks. We have added the capability to switch organizations in Fliplet Viewer, and this will be available in the next coming days. We also have App Merge, which will enable customers to merge apps through a guided and automated process. We will be adding support for rolling back global code, which means overall, you'll be able to control your versions for screens, data sources, as well as the global code. App Merge will be available for everyone in early 2026. Later on, Sophie will be giving a demo on the App Merge feature. So if you're interested, you can stick around for that, or you can watch the video on demand afterwards. Finally, we're going to quickly go through some of the updates for our event solutions. Earlier this year, we launched digital business cards, QR code scanning for checking in, personalized agenda, session RSVP, as well as one-on-one meeting bookings. We have some new functionality coming up, including, but not limited to, Scavenger Hunt, Exhibitor Bingo, which are some of the most requested interactive features. We have note-taking that's been added throughout the app, as well as some speaker tools to help them manage their own sessions. There are plenty of other features that we will be talking about soon. With event registration, we'll be building a solution that allows you to have a public event info site. It will support ticketing systems with e-commerce as well, and also a customizable optional registration flow if you want. There will also be an admin dashboard for the event admins to see what's going on within the registration system. Later today, Lisa will be giving a demo on some 10 new features of the event solution features. If you're interested, you can stick around for that as well, or you can watch them on video on demand afterwards. As a summary, we've talked about how publishing is going to be improved for mobile apps. We've talked about how deep linking from web apps to native apps will make it a much more seamless experience for your mobile users. We've talked about data-powered components as well as single submission in forms to make sure that your data integrity as well as the flexibility of how the data are presented to the user are kept intact. We've touched on various different AI functionality, including AI feature, action builder, as well as some model updates for our AI functionality. We've talked about how Fliplet will be supporting your SDLCs continuously, as well as these event solution updates.